other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
Yo, welcome to another edition of I'm Not Gonna Hold You. This is season 3, episode 4, and today is September 29th, Thursday, September 29th, 2022. We are live here from Los Angeles, California. It's your boy Scott, your host every week. Of course, you know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Barberchair Scott. You know to follow this beautiful media platform, H&B Media, at H&B Media TV on Twitter and at H&B Media on Instagram. And of course, you can follow the other beautiful network that this show is on, my company, the Barber's Chair Network. You know to follow it on Twitter and Instagram at Barber's Chair Net. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barber's Chair Network, and log on to our website, thebcnet.com. The Barber's Chair Shop is coming to you soon, man. And of course, we are here. It's a lot of stuff going on. I am back here in LA, so that means starting on Monday, we'll be doing our 2 shows a week. So we'll be getting back to that. You know, I won't be traveling as much over the next 6 weeks, so I will be able to do twice a week like we said we were going to do during the football season. Next week, the MLB playoffs will be starting off, so we're going to have a lot of stuff to get into on both days, man. We got a lot of stuff to get into today. Also, we're going to talk a little NBA. You know, media day was a couple days ago. You know, we're going to preview a little bit of recap a little bit of week 3. Get you ready for week 4 starting tonight in Cincinnati with the Bills, not the Bills, but the Bengals and the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. And we're going to get into a little baseball, man. So let's just get right into it, man. We're going to start off with my sound off, as we usually do. You know, I sound off on a topic, something that's happened over weeks. So I want to sound off with a salute to the one and only Albert Pujols, man, for hitting his 700th home run last weekend in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium. It was an amazing moment. You know, everybody was, you know, they were promoting it all over social media. You know, Apple TV is like, this is going to be the night. And they do it at Dodger Stadium, which is one of the most legendary and one of the most beautiful stadiums in baseball, and also a team that he played for last year, man. So it was a special moment for Albert. And I want to take a minute to acknowledge this because I think this is going to be the last time we see a player hit 700 home runs, at least in my lifetime. You know what I'm saying? From the way that the game is played today, it's more of a pitcher's game more than it is offensively. And on top of that, you got to have the longevity to be able to do this. I mean, Albert Pujols has been in the game about 20 plus seasons now. You know what I'm saying? I remember watching Albert Pujols' rookie year when I was like in 7th grade. And even coming into this season, you know, for his farewell season with the team that drafted him and started his career, the St. Louis Cardinals, coming back here with his guy, Yadier Molina, for them to both close out their careers. I looked at how many home runs he was winning. I was like, there's no way that he was going to crack this. I was like, you know, I understand he's going to be getting more playing time because the DH was brought to the National League, thank God. But I was just like, you're asking a lot for a guy of his age, and he's probably going to get hurt to hit 18 home runs. And even with like a month left in the season, it didn't look like he was going to do it. He's about 11 home runs away, but he just went crazy at the end of August and all of September to get this here. And the game that he broke it in, he hit 2 home runs in one game. And I think that was just an amazing accomplishment for him, one of the best players in the history of the sport. And even though I don't care about, you know, how people think about players in the steroid era, and we'll get into that later in the show, you know, you also do got to give him a little credit for being one of the players who didn't, you know, take steroids. Of course, we always talk about the 3 main players who they always talk about who didn't do it was Frank Thomas, King Griffey Jr., and Albert Pujols. So it was just great to see, and it was great to witness that moment. I'm mad I missed it live because I fell asleep. I fell asleep and I didn't see it. I woke up like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, discombobulated, and I was like, oh shit, he did it. So I just want to give a salute to Albert Pujols, one of the walking legends, man. I saw like a little graphic on Instagram the other day, and they were pointing like, I think it was like a couple weeks ago, like when Serena had her last match, and it was like 20 years ago, it was the same thing going on. Albert Pujols hit a home run, and Serena won a match. So that's just kind of crazy, man. So I just want to give a salute to Albert Pujols with my sound off, man. So salute them. We're going to talk more about that's some more MLB news. I'm going to save for my Goofy Mog of the Week. So we're going to get back to that. But now it's time to talk about the NBA. The NBA, man, the association is back. Off season is officially over. The regular season will be starting in about 3.5 weeks, you know, on I think it's the 19th of October. The Warriors will be getting their banners at the Chase Center and getting ready to face LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm getting sick and tired of seeing the Lakers on national TV every damn night, especially how ass they were last year. Same thing with the Knicks. I get it. They're the Lakers. They're the most popular NBA franchise of all time, top three most popular sports franchise of all time. And LeBron James is one of the greatest of all time. So I get it from that perspective. But as a fan, I'm tired of seeing their underachieving ass on national TV, especially start the damn season. But I digress. So there's a lot of storylines, man. Media day was on Monday. I unfortunately was not able to go to the Clipper one. I mean, I was approved to go, but I wasn't able to be in town on time to miss the Clippers media day, but you will be getting a lot of Clipper coverage this year because I'll be in season 2 of covering the Clippers, so look out for that. So I wanted to just go over, a couple of my top 5, stories, coming into media day, when people talking about it media day, when people talking about just coming into this overall season of the NBA. And so I want to start off with my number 5 media day story or NBA starting story, and that's the drive for 5 for the Golden State Warriors. They were the team, one of the first teams to have their media day. They actually had theirs, I think it was on Friday last week instead of Monday, because they headed out to Tokyo for training camp and do a couple preseason games out there. And now Steph Curry and the Warriors, I feel like they're finally in a situation where they don't have to prove anything. Even with Steph having 3 championships before this, having to NBA final. Having 2 league MVPs. There was still that cloud of, can he do it without a Kevin Durant? When he won the first championship, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were. Now, these are all stupid ass criticisms because we can go through every championship in the history of any sport and prove out, oh, this person was hurt, or this person hurt. What if this happened? If it was a fifth, we'd always be drunk. But you still had the people who would use that as criticism. Could he do it without them? They hadn't made the playoffs since the 2019 season with KD and Klay Thompson going down. And then not only that, getting to the play-in the year before and then losing to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a sign of a new era. Now, for them to come out and dealing with all the injuries they dealt with last season. I mean, they didn't get Draymond, Klay, and Steph together for more than 5 minutes till the playoffs. And to go out there, win the championship, their 4th ring, Steph's first Finals MVP, so they can finally take that off his he can't do list. They're coming to this season with a little bit of no pressure. They're really just, stat padding at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna go out here to drive for 5. Andre Iguodala's coming back for his 20th and final season. So they also got a couple more people that they signed. White Dante, like to call him. He's going to be added on to this team. You got James Wiseman, who's going to be back. Klay, after more time since the injury, we're going to have a full season of Klay Thompson. Draymond's back. So this is really just a kind of I won't say stress-free situation because they're still the hunted, they're the champs. So everybody's going to be coming for them. But I feel like this is the most, lax or most, carefree you're going to see this Warriors team, I believe. And I think they're going to be a top of the league and, right there to get this 5th championship. They can look to become, the first team in 10 years to win 5 championships since the Lakers did. Of course, Lakers did it from 2000 to 2010 where they won 5 championships, 3 with Shaq and Kobe, the other 2 with Powell and Kobe. And of course, the Bulls did that in the 90s. So this is something that's going to be interesting to see for them. So just them coming back fully healthy and being able to try to go for that 5th ring. That's going to be my 5th story. Now, 4th story, got a little bit more positive today. Lonzo Ball's injury. Now, of course, if you're a Bulls fan, the Lonzo Ball's not played since last January. He had a little knee surgery. Everybody thought it was just going to be a 6 to 8 week thing, and it really wasn't. He hasn't played any type of basketball since. And he talked to the media during Bulls Media Day, and I just really felt bad for Lonzo. Like, fuck basketball. Fuck how I feel as a Bulls fan. For him to go up there and say that he's still not running, he's still not jumping, and he really can't do any type of just movement in general, just really made me, sad. Imagine you weren't able to jump or run and then not be able to play the game you love and the time it's supposed to be the prime of your career. So he went in there for Wednesday to have cleanup surgery. And the news coming out of the surgery today, both from Shams and also from Bulls beat reporter Casey Johnson, is that the surgery went well and that the doctors are very optimistic that they found the actual problem with the actual injury, and they will reevaluate him in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, Casey Johnson says, doesn't mean that, he's going to play, but there is now optimism in the Bulls camp that Lonzo Ball can come back. And I think that would be good. Now, one thing I will say on the Bulls tip, one thing, if let's just say Lonzo can come back at All-Star break, which I personally still am not going to count on him to come back till I actually see him come back. But let's just say best case scenario, he is back after the All-Star break. That could be a great deadline addition. I do think this guard rotation is deep enough to hold it down while he's out. I think Goran Dragic was a really good pickup. He's been solid. He's going to be good. Ayo Dosunmu had a great rookie campaign. One thing you look about Ayo's career from Morgan Park to in his time at U of I, he gets better each year. He's doing more this year, and I really think he's going to step up a lot. And to have a guy like Lonzo be able to step in, I think would be good. Now, I do think Bulls fans need to temper the expectations with Lonzo. Let's not do the same thing with Lonzo that we did with Derrick Rose. Well, y'all did with Derrick Rose, correction. Where they said the doctor said he was medically cleared to play, and just because he wasn't ready to play, everybody got to go on him and say he wasn't ready to play, or he didn't care about it. Give Lonzo time, man. But this is something that as a Bulls fan, I'm gonna look at optimistically. I think there's some good news coming out of that report today, so we're just gonna see what happens with that going forward. My number 3 storyline coming to the season for Media Day is just how somber the Media Day interview sounded from the Boston Celtics and the Phoenix Suns, because they had very hectic off seasons. Of course, we know what happened with the Phoenix Suns with Robert Sarver and the whole racist, sexist incidents, which led to a year suspension, a $10 million fine, and now he has been forced to sell the team. And on top of that, the whole DeAndre Ayton contract situation. We know there was a little beef between the front office and DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton signed that big offer sheet with the Indiana Pacers that the Suns matched. And you can tell, even from his interview, that he didn't sound like he was really thrilled to be back with the Phoenix Suns. You can tell there's a little bit of animosity between the front office and DeAndre Ayton, and that's not good. And now you also got to look at it from how the season ended. And this is a team last year who had the best record in basketball, a team that everybody expected to at least get to the Western Conference Finals. They went out there, lost in the second round, and not even did they lose in the second round. They got absolutely eviscerated by Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, and the Dallas Mavericks in that second round in the Game 7 at home. I remember watching that game. That game was over in the fucking first quarter. So you come off a loss like that, Chris Paul getting another year older. What's going to be the situation going for them? Not the best way to start a season that you need to rebound from. And of course, the Boston Celtics, we all know the Ime Udoka situation, which I will not be getting into any more detail. Like I said on the show last week, I want to wait till the real facts come out, but they have a new coach. They have not had the best luck with injuries. They signed Danilo Gallinari during the offseason. He's going to be out with the torn ACL. Then they signed Malcolm Brogdon. That's going to be a good pickup, but with his injuries, that's going to be up and down. And now we hear about the surgery that Robert Williams had. He's going to be out for 8 to 12 weeks. And so you add all of that, and you also think there's going to be some animosity with Jaylen Brown in the Celtics, because he's not happy about him being dangled to the Brooklyn Nets and the Kevin Durant thing. So these two teams, who went to the NBA Finals, had a great year with their first coach, for their rookie coach, and then the team last year who failed to live up to expectations. A lot going on their shoulders and a lot of pressure coming into this upcoming season. So I'm looking to see what that's going to be like. My number 2 storyline is the return of Zion Williamson, man. The New Orleans Pelicans were a great story last year, despite the fact that Zion missed the entire season, going out there trading for CJ McCollum. A great year that Brandon Ingram had. Just that whole young core under first-year head coach Willie Green went in the play-in game against the Clippers. I was there. I remember that run they made in that fourth quarter, and then pushing the Suns to 7 games, and even had a chance to actually upset them and win that season. They're coming into this year with a lot of momentum, especially giving CJ McCollum that big contract extension. Now you add Zion to the fold. If he can stay healthy, I think this is going to be a really great team that can be a top 6 seed and not even be a play-in team. And now the question is, can Zion stay healthy? I think a lot of people forget, because he's missed way more games than he's played. When he plays, he's a 27 points per game guy, and he was an all-star. Comes to media day looking lean, looks much better shape than he looked the last couple media days, so that's great. Hopefully that keeps up. And he's been playing 5-on-5s. He's ready. That's going to be something to see. And I feel like they're going to be one of those exciting teams in the West that can give people some work and even maybe win around. And he also got a big contract extension. So all the noise about Zion doesn't want to be there. I like the transparency he said in this interview with Malika Andrews, where he was like, he didn't know if he was going to get the contract. He was like, if I was part of the ownership group of the Pelicans, he wasn't 100%. He give him his own contract because of how his health issues have been. So I'm looking forward to seeing Zion, man. Zion's one of my favorite players in the league, and the league is much better. And I think this is a guy who can hold the mantle as the most popular player in the league after LeBron James retires, because I think that's going to be a gap that a lot of people don't really understand is going to be when LeBron does retire. Speaking of LeBron, that leads me into my number one media day topic. LeBron James, year 20, man. King James. Y'all know how I feel about that guy. I'm not the biggest fan of him on the court. I think he's an amazing guy off the court, a great businessman, everything like that. But year 20, we have not seen, at least in my era, a guy in his 20th season playing as well as he had. I mean, yeah, he was third team all NBA, but being third team when you like 37, 38 is fucking ridiculous. And, last person to do 20 years at his level was Kareem. Even Kareem didn't play as well as LeBron is playing right now. I think the only comparison to it would be a Tom Brady in the NFL. So he's coming into year 20, just signed a big extension with the Los Angeles Lakers. So he 9 times out of 10, he will be retiring with the Lakers. And there's a lot of things going on with the Lakers this year. A new head coach, first time coach Darvin Ham. They have not been able to trade Russell Westbrook. And I do think that I don't think it's 100% chance that he's going to finish the season with Russ. I think there was interesting wording by Lakers GM Rob Pelinka in the media day saying that, LeBron committed to us, so we're going to commit to him. And you only have a couple chances to trade draft picks, basically saying we're still open for business. So that's going to be interesting to see. So how is Russ going to be in year 2? Not really fitting. Is he going to be coming off the bench? Is he going to be able to play well? Are the Lakers going to be healthy? Are we ever going to get Anthony Davis healthy? And then, of course, the addition of Patrick Beverley and bringing back Dennis Schroeder, which I don't understand neither one of those signings whatsoever. If you know how this Lakers team was constructed last year and the issues they had last year, I don't really think that helps them. And you're in year 20, Braun wants to get that 5th ring. I don't think this is the best basketball situation for him to do that. But on a personal level, he has an opportunity to become the NBA's leading scorer, a record that I didn't think was going to be broken. He's going to break that game. He can break that record probably before January. And he also has an opportunity to pass Magic Johnson in all-time assists, which is a great record for him. So despite what you feel about LeBron, despite what you think about what the Los Angeles Lakers record is going to be, just watching him being able to accomplish that goal should be something that everybody wants to see, man. So those are my top 5 media day stories for the NBA, man. So, we're going to see what's happening a couple weeks away. And, when things get closer, we'll have more NBA stuff for you. But let's get into the best league. The Shield, the NFL. We are here for week 4, kicking off tonight in Cincinnati between the Cincinnati Bengals and the undefeated Miami Dolphins. We'll get into that in a minute. But I just want to recap week 3. One thing I've noticed about the NFL season, tonight, begins, after the end of this week will be the ending of the first quarter of the NFL season. And one thing about the NFL season is like it takes fucking forever to get here and it's gone in the fucking blink of an eye. So we already a quarter through. So I want to go over my top 5 storylines coming from week 3 and leading into week 4. My number 5 storyline is Tom Brady needs some fucking help. Tom Brady right now, 3 games, he's only got 653 yards passing, only 3 touchdowns, only 1 pick, only 3 touchdowns. And he looks really discombobulated with these wide receivers. Now, granted, the Bucks are like on their 4th or 5th option right now. Gronk left the team. Of course, Godwin played week 1, but now he's still on hamstring issues, so he's been out. You got Mike Evans. He missed last week due to suspension. Julio Jones has missed the last 2 weeks with injury. He might be playing this week, but the offense has not looked the way we're accustomed to seeing a Tom Brady or Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense looking. Now, the good thing for them, their defense looks championship ready. And Leonard Fournette showed a little bit more of a life last week against the Green Bay Packers. But Tom Brady needs some more help. I wouldn't be shocked if he gives Gronk a call in a couple weeks. Because this offense needs to be able to score more points. And I don't think it's a thing that Tom Brady's losing or something. He's still throwing some great balls out there. I just think the guy needs more capable receivers. I mean, they signed Cole Beasley last week and played him with basically no practice time. So that tells you just how urgent it is for the Buccaneers. And, they're trying to, plug and pull all these wide receivers. So Brady needs some help. I'm still not giving up on the Bucks, but they need some help score some points because they got to play the Kansas City Chiefs this week, and their schedule over in Tampa is not easy either. Number 4, I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, man. Trevor Lawrence looking good in year 2 after just a god-awful week, year 1. Didn't look good in week 1 either, but he's looked really good over the last 2 weeks. Really spectacular game last Sunday at SoFi Stadium. Threw for over 300-something yards, threw for 3 touchdowns. And they just absolutely obliterated the Chargers 38-10. And he's starting to look good. You're starting to see the chemistry with him and Doug Peterson. And one thing that I always thought was kind of wild to me is that Doug Peterson never gets the credit for how that Eagles offense looked in 2017 when they won a championship, or developing Carson Wentz before he got hurt, and you're seeing he's bringing some of that expertise right now to Trevor Lawrence. And of course, it's early. Like I've been saying about young quarterbacks, they can look great one week and look shit the next week. But this is something that's really good because last year was kind of like, that they had no type of idea in Jacksonville. I mean, Urban Meyer was a terrible hire. He didn't want to be there. He was in these streets. And it was just a bad environment for a rookie quarterback. So hopefully he keeps balling and keeps looking like the number 1 overall draft pick and the generational talent that we all expected him to be, man. So it's really been good to watch Trevor Lawrence over these last 2 weeks. Number 3, the Miami Dolphins are officially AFC East contenders. Tua Tagovailoa in my Ross voice. That wide receiver core with Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, the way that defense has been looking, Mike McDaniels, this brilliant offensive calls, the running game. They're just looking like a well-oiled machine over these last 3 weeks. Nobody expected this team to start off 3-0. I didn't even pick them to beat the Bills last week. They beat the Bills in a very competitive game, a game that went down to the wire, and Tua looked magnificent. This is a thing where I still think the Bills are the best team in football. I still think the Bills will win this division. But now they've got a little competition on their hands. They got a little competition on their hands, especially with how their secondary has been looking. Micah Parsons, not Micah Parsons, but I can't. My man I'm forgetting the names, but Micah Hyde, that's his name. Micah Hyde is going to be out for the rest of the season. And they also have other injuries in the secondary. That right there can make this more of a competitive division than the Bills want. And right now, the Dolphins are just stacking confidence. If they can find a way to knock off the Cincinnati Bengals on the road, a win that the Bengals really, really need. They've won 2 in a row, but, their offense is still a little shaky. The offensive line is shaky. And Joe Burrow is still trying to get back in that rhythm that they had at the end of last season heading into the Super Bowl. So they get a win here going 4-0. They're going to be looking even better and better, and they can be like a full game up on the Buffalo Bills, man. So I think a lot of people, I didn't expect them to be this good. I'm still not 100% sold on it. I want to see more, but you can't ask for a better start if you're a fan of the Miami Dolphins, and if you're Mike McDaniel. You got to love what you're seeing from Tua right now, even the confidence that you hear from Tua, coming. You didn't hear him talk, this way. You heard a little bit of saltiness from him, or as Rich Eisen called him, salty Tua during the off season. But it's good to see him out there really playing well, and he came back from a concussion, which was a concussion, by the way. Dolphins can say that bullshit all they want. That motherfucker ain't know what island he was on in that second half. But I digress. So Miami Dolphins ain't nothing to play with, man. So they're going to be interesting to watch over the rest of the season. Number 2, Zach Wilson is back. For all you Jets fans out there, I know you're excited. You get to finally see your young quarterback year 2. Now, the bad thing is Garrett Wilson is hurt. He's not going to be playing this Sunday. They don't know how long he's going to be out. So your number 1 draft pick that you got ain't going to be out there right away. I still don't think this changes much for the Jets' future as far as this year. I still think they're going to be one of the bottom teams in the league. But now you have your young quarterback out there, and he's got to take a leap. He's got to go out there and show you something. He's got to go out there and look like, see if he can rival Trevor Lawrence and see what he's doing. But now you actually got something to watch, Jets fans. You don't have to sit up here and watch Joe Flacco. You already know who the hell Joe Flacco is. Now you can go out there and see the guy. And I don't know. I think Zach Wilson had some flashes last year. I think he's still a great unknown. I still think he was drafted way higher than he should have been. But now the spotlight is on. You got these weapons. You had a good draft. You got a good defense. Can you go out there and put up some numbers to show that you can be the franchise quarterback for the Jets, man? So that's going to be my number 2. Number 1 weekly headline as we get into week 4. What the fuck is going on in Vegas, man? What is going on with the Las Vegas Raiders? They are 0-3. They've got a monster game at the crib this weekend against the Denver Broncos. They need to win. They need to win. I had the Raiders being one of my wild card teams. I had them finishing second in the West. They just don't look anything like it. They have not looked well. The last 2 weeks, it's like Derek Carr forgot that the Raiders traded for and spent a shit ton of money on Devontae Adams. It just has not looked good. They've had turnover issues, and they lost to the fucking Tennessee Titans last week. Just a terrible loss. The season is on life support right now. I don't even know the stat of teams who started 0-3 and made the playoffs. I can guarantee you it ain't a lot of them, if any. But if they lose this Sunday at home against the division opponent, they're done. And then you got this big season where you went out here and you re-signed, Max Crosby. You went out there and traded for Devontae Adams, gave up all the stuff you gave up, and gave him that fucking huge contract. And go out there and bring in Josh McDaniels as your head coach. And you start off 0-4. Obviously, this is something, if you're a Raiders fan, you don't want to see. And obviously, this isn't something that the owner, Mark Davis, wanted to see. As he had that long talk with Mike McDaniel in the hallway after the Tennessee Titans game. So it's time to shit or get off the pot for the Las Vegas Raiders right now, because they're looking like some frauds, and that division has a lot more question marks to answer. Me and a whole bunch of other people thought this was going to be the best division in football. It ain't looking nothing like it right now. The Chiefs have their issues. Everybody on the fucking Chargers is injured. The Let's Ride offense of the Broncos is not looking good whatsoever. That Sunday Night Football game was one of the worst football games I've ever seen in my life, and this is coming from a Bears fan. Just all bad in AFC West right now. So it's time to get off the pot for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now it's time to go into my weekly power rankings, man. Now I'm going to keep saying this for every power ranking. These are not who are the best teams in the league. These are weekly. So they adjust weekly. There might be a team that was number one last week, or they had a bad loss, so they get off. They get knocked off. Doesn't mean that I think that they're not good anymore. These are based strictly on the week of that football, and it fluctuates each week, man. So let's start off with number 10, going with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars now at 2-1, big time win over the Los Angeles Chargers on the road, blowout win. They're heading to Philadelphia against the Eagles team that's 3-0. Their head coach, nobody knows them better than Doug Peterson. It's a homecoming for them. And now in this division of the AFC South, which is the worst division in football, you have a chance to go 3-1 and be like, yo, if we can beat the Eagles and you're coming off winning against the Chargers, we might be able to do something here, man. So I'm looking forward to see how this young team is going to look. Trevor Lawrence is looking good. That defense, that front line is looking fast as hell. They get into the quarterback, making things difficult. Doug Peterson's offense is looking good. All the wide receivers they paid in the offseason, they're looking good. So things are starting to click for them. Let's see if they can overachieve and get a W this weekend against the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 9, I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys, man. The Cowboys came here with a lot of injuries, a very lukewarm offseason where they got rid of Amari Cooper, really didn't add anything to the team. Tyron Smith got injured in training camp, and of course, Dak Prescott got injured in week 1. But we got to give it up for Cooper Rush, man. Cooper Rush has been looking solid as a backup quarterback. He has been amazing, and they've now led them to 2 wins. Nice, great game-winning drive on the road in New York at MetLife on Monday Night Football with him and CD Lamb. CD Lamb scoring the game-winning touchdown after he had a massive drop in the first half of that game. That defense is looking good. The running game is looking good. And they look like they've got enough to hold it down while Dak is out, and enough to maybe they can make this thing a little interesting. They win this week, then they 3-1, and then they were Philly. And one thing about the NFC East, you can expect the stupid finish alarm to go off in any type of week. I don't think the Eagles are going to run away with nothing. There's going to be that patch when the Eagles look bad. And if the Cowboys just stay there, they get Dak back, things might look up. They might be able to be the first repeat NFC East champion in over 18 years, man. So I'm keeping the Cowboys right. And the Cowboys is number 9 for me. Number 8, I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Green Bay Packers offense has not looked good. Matter of fact, I know this is going to sound like a shocking stat, but the Chicago Bears have scored more points in these first 3 weeks than the Green Bay Packers. I know it sounds crazy. I didn't believe it till I saw it. But they only put up 14 points in a win on Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The defense was able to get a last-minute stand on the Bucs, even though, came after a false start penalty. It really took them back, but a good stop by them. The defense has been looking solid, and the running game is looking solid. I'm not going to blame Aaron Rodgers for this. I still think they don't have a lot of weapons offensively, and there just hasn't really been any chemistry with any offensive player, any wide receiver not named Allen Lazard. So I think that's going to be an issue. But the reason I'm keeping them at 8 is because the Minnesota Vikings are going to do some Viking shit, and they also go on the road right now to play the New England Patriots. It's either going to be Brian Hoyer or a very beat up Mac Jones on Sunday, and that should be another W for them at home at Lambeau Field. So I'm gonna put the Packers at number 8. Number 7, I'm going with the Baltimore Ravens. Man, Lamar Jackson, he's shutting me the fuck up. Y'all know my criticisms of Lamar, and I'm gonna keep saying on this show, every podcast I do, I don't hate Lamar Jackson. I get this shit in my mentions all the damn time. I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. I just had a criticism about his passing ability, but he's shutting me the hell up, and I can hope he continues to shut me the hell up. He's looking for a huge payday, looking to be the football version of Aaron Judge for betting on himself and going out there and get a contract. He's by far the leading MVP candidate right now, and they just got another dub this past week against the New England Patriots. They're setting up pretty good and being able to shut up shop and be able to win this division, man. So I'm very confident in the Baltimore Ravens. The defense is still a little questionable to me, but if Lamar's keep playing the way they playing, they'll be fine. So I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens at 7. And number 6, I'm gonna go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. As I just talked about, the offensive woes that they've been having, but just off the fact that the defense is as great as it is, they're going to be getting their guys back. Mike Evans will be back in the lineup this week after coming off suspension. Julio Jones has been making progress. Hopefully he'll play. God will be back eventually. And at the end of the day, man, they're battle tested. They've won a Super Bowl, and they have Tom fucking Brady. As bad as that offense looked last week, they had an opportunity to win that game. And if it wasn't for that penalty, they might have fucking won that game. So when you have all those elements and you're in the division that they're in, I mean, Carolina is god awful. The Saints have not looked the way that I thought they were going to look. And the Falcons, even though the Falcons have put up more points than I and a lot of people suspected, they're not going to be a threat. So just off that, they're going to be able to get their stuff together. And it would be nice if they were able to get that win over the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. So I'm going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at number 6. Now to my top 5, I'm going to go with the LA Rams, the defending Super Bowl champions. They have not looked spectacular right now, but they're still 2-1. They had a great win on the road against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that upset the Raiders week before. Limit them to no points. They did not fucking score on Sunday. Defense looked solid. It looked like Cam Akers had a pulse last week, so that's good for them. I think eventually they're going to click. This offense is going to click. The defense is sound. Aaron Donald has been Aaron Donald. Bobby Wagner has been great as advertised. We all know how fucking awesome Jalen Ramsey is. I don't think there's anything to worry about with them. They'll be fine. And when you're a champion, you just want to get through the season, in the playoffs and to be healthy because you know how to win. They won on the road last year in the playoffs. They know how to get it done. So they just steady the ship. They're going to be all right. So I'm going to keep them. I have the Rams at 5. Number 4, I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs. Very nutty game on Sunday. Them losing a close one to the Indianapolis Colts. The offense does not look good. Did not look good the last 2 weeks. Patrick Mahomes does not look good over the last 2 weeks. But at the end of the day, like I said, the same thing with the Buccaneers. I have faith in them to be able to turn around, even coming off a loss and a very unimpressive win the week before. I think there's still something there. When you have Patrick Mahomes, we have Andy Reid, you have the weapons they have. I just think, of course, there's been a little disconnect because of no Tyreek Hill. And, there's been some drops for Travis Kelce, but all these stuff is manageable stuff that you can get over. So I'm going to keep the Kansas City Chiefs at number 4. Now in our top 3, Philadelphia Eagles, 3-0. Eagles looking good right now, running well. The defense has been good. The running game's been good. Jalen Hurts is an MVP candidate, and they're going to be at home against a team that, like I said, they're sneaky good right now. And as the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're placing themselves in that position. They had them. I could have put them in number 2, but I'm gonna drop them a spot at number 3 because number 2, I'm going with the Miami Dolphins. They're 3-0, prime position to win 4-0, and just off I'm going to do like a little college thing, strength of schedule. I think their win against Buffalo was more impressive than any of the Eagles wins. So I'm going to put them up there. And especially if they can go out here, they can beat the Bengals, go 4-0. They just might be number 1 on my list this week. But number 1 on my list for the 3rd week in a row, I don't give a damn if they lost, it's to the Buffalo Bills. This team almost had a chance to win that game. Josh Allen's looked great. Stephon Diggs looked great. Ken Dorsey, even though he had the moment of the week with the way that motherfucker was losing his shit in the booth. By the way, which I love. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think he needed to apologize, but you do know Ken Dorsey eventually wants to be a head coach. And when these owners hire people, they want to have their coach be a certain way. So I get the business reason for why he apologized. But I love to see that type of passion. Now, like I said earlier, the secondary worries me. It does worry me. On the Dolphins breathing behind their back, this is not going to be the smooth ride that we've seen them for the first couple weeks. But all in all, I still think they're the best team in the NFL right now. So I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills in my power rankings for this week, man. So now it's getting to week 4. Week 4 kicks off tonight, Thursday night football. I got a great one on tap. Last week's Thursday night football was an eyesore. The incredible quarterback battle of Jacoby Brissett versus one Mitchell Trubisky was riveting television, to say the least. But this will be a great game. First time that Tua and Joe Burrow going at it in the NFL. The first two quarterbacks taken in the 2020 draft. A lot of people was like, oh, the Dolphins took Tua, well, Joe Burrow. Tua got a chance to shut these haters up tonight. You know what I'm saying? And of course, the battle between Eli Apple and Tyreek Hill, they've been talking shit. And we know their beef going back to last year's AFC Championship game. So that starts off tonight. These are the games I think that you should watch. Of course, Bengals Dolphins tonight for all the reasons that I listed. That should be the number one game that you got the tube turned into. You got your Amazon Prime tuned into tonight. Shout out to the whole team over there at Amazon. Other game you should watch, Bucks Chiefs. Now, I don't think this is going to be the most offensively pleasing game because of the issues I just named with the Buccaneers and the issues that I've been naming with the Chiefs and them not being able to put it together. But anytime you have a chance to see the GOAT and Tom Brady go against a guy who I think can challenge his crown over the next decade, the best quarterback in the game right now, and Patrick Mahomes, probably the last time they're going to play each other, that's a must watch just off rip. So I'm gonna have that in my list. Another one, we got a blood feud, man. We got a blood feud on Monday Night Football. It's gonna be a Candlestick Park, not Candlestick. I keep calling them motherfucking Candlestick. That's the old arena. Levi Stadium. I'm tired of all these corporate stadium names. Levi Stadium. The Niners scored what was it, like 6 points in a fucking regulation game last week? Ridiculous. They're trying to bounce back. This is a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. This is a game where if you go to any of these games, whether it's a Levi or the SoFi Stadium, make sure you have the same bulletproof vest that fucking 50 Cent wore on the Get Rich or Die Trying promo tour because it's going to go down in those stands. This is going to be a big game, fun game. Love NFC East rivalry games. You got two teams who, one where the Niners are kind of fighting for to get back in it, and you got a team in the Rams who are trying to reestablish their dominance in this league. I mean, in this league as the defending champions, and what better than beat your rival and let them know we still got you after the many times that the Niners have beat them over the last couple of years. So those are 3 must-watch games. But let's get into my sneaky good games for this week. I got 2 sneaky good games. When I would say Raiders and Broncos, the reason I say this is going to be sneaky good because of the positions that both teams are in. Now, the offense for the Denver Broncos does not look good. Nathaniel Hackett looks like a deer in the fucking headlights. Russell Wilson does not look good. Eli Manning said they should have paid the punter instead of Russ. Russ is out here doing weird ass Subway commercials and things of that nature. But the defense has still been good. And you got a team like the Raiders at home, they have to win. They don't win this game, this season is fucking over. Pull out the mock drafts. They have to win this game. This is the AFC West division game. The Broncos win this, they can go 3-1. And despite the offensive struggles they have, you're 3-1 in the division. That's something you can build on because you gotta guess that eventually Russell Wilson is gonna get it together. So I'm gonna go with that being a sneaky good game. But my number one sneaky good game for the week, it's going to be Jaguars Eagles for all the reasons I said earlier. You got a team, up and coming team, young team, and the Jacksonville Jaguars, a young quarterback, a young, nice defense that's been making things crazy for every quarterback they face. Going into the Lions Den of the Eagles. It's going to be a raucous crowd out there. They're trying to go 4-0. Doug Peterson's going to be returning to Philadelphia for the first time since he got fired. The place that he won the fucking Super Bowl. You know what I mean? They got a statue of him and Nick fucking Foles outside the building. Now, the question is, how will be his reception? Now, any logical fan would say, he won you your first Super Bowl in franchise history. He should get a standing ovation. It's not like he left the organization on bad terms. He was the one who was fired. But these are Philadelphia sports fans that we're talking about. They might boo the hell out of him because that would be peak Philadelphia. But I'm hoping he gets a round of applause, a standing ovation before the game. And then when the game starts, do your Philly thing and boo them to hell. But I think this is going to be one of them sneaky good games. And if you're better, I would stay the fuck away from. So those are my two games that I would watch. So we're going to do go over predictions as I wrap this episode up. Week 4 predictions. Now, last week did not have the best week in my predictions. I went 8-8 in my predictions, 500, but not as good as I've done the first 2 weeks. That leads my overall season total of a record of 29, 18, and 1. Thank you so very much, Houston Texans and Indianapolis Colts, for that tie. So let's get into all our predictions, man. Kicks off tonight, like I said, Bengals, Dolphins, Thursday Night Football in Cincinnati. This is going to be a very competitive game. This is going to be a very competitive game. I would not be shocked if the Dolphins won, but they're at home. They're trying to get their foot back on the gas, trying to get back into, not letting Lamar and them run away with the North. I just think the Bengals are going to have enough. I think their defense will make more plays. I think we're going to see a lot of Burrow to Jamar Chase. And, I just don't think that, I just don't think the Dolphins are going to go 4-0 to start. This is a big thing to ask of them right now, but it's going to be competitive. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm going to go with the Bengals this week. On Sunday, we got our first London game of the year, Vikings and Saints, which will be coming on at 6 a.m. Pacific time. And if NFL, if you think I'm going to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to watch the amazing quarterback battle of Kirk Cousins and Jameis Winston, you got me fucked up. I will not be watching this game whatsoever. But I will go with the Vikings in a very disgusting football game. And I don't understand why they keep putting football in London and shit. Like, I just think there's just a market that's just not ever going to care about American football. This is a place that they love soccer, or we, us Americans call soccer. That's their real football. So I don't get these London games. So, but that's how I think that's going to go. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Falcons, Browns. This is in Atlanta. I'm probably going to regret this. But the Falcons offensively have not been as bad as I thought. This is not a good football team. Let's be very clear about that. The mock drafts are already out in Atlanta. They will be drafting very high. Not thinking the top 3. But the offense has been showing me things. Going in against the Browns have a good defense, but they're going to be probably without Myles Garrett, who got in that car accident this week. Thank God it wasn't life or career threatening. Hopefully he feels better, but doesn't sound like he's going to play this week. So because of that, and because the Falcons are home, because the Falcons offense is looking better, I'm going to go with Atlanta, but I might regret this one. This one is not going to be an aesthetically pleasing game either. I mean, Jacoby Brissett versus Marcus Mariota. Skip. Cowboys and Commanders. Carson Wentz, man, he's just not good. He's just not good. Like, this one thing as a Bears fan, I know. It's bad quarterbacks. This dude fucking sucks. I think the Cowboys, big win last week. I think they're going to win this week. I think Cooper Rush is enough. I think that defense is enough. And come on now, Carson Wentz is not beating any fucking body, man. So I'm going to go with the Cowboys with that one. Lions Seahawks, that's a skip game. Skip game. Don't watch this shit. Ross St. Brown did not practice again today. So he might be in doubt for Sunday. He's Jared Goff's number 1 target right now. That being said, I still believe in this Lions offense more. Now, the Lions did show last week that they are still indeed the Lions with the way they lost to the Vikings. But I'm going to pick them again this week against the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to go with Detroit this week. Colts, Titans, another disgusting AFC South game. I think that was a huge win for the Colts last week. They looked like they were Matt Ryan was getting back into a rhythm to be back at home again. And the Titans, the thing here is they're going to keep feeding the ball to Derrick Henry. So I could see Derrick Henry single-handedly beat the Colts. That would not surprise me whatsoever in this disgusting-ass division. But I think I'm going to go with the Colts with the home win. Bears, Giants, as usual. I don't get my score on here. The score will be on the 79th and Highlands preview podcast, dropping each and every Friday on the Barbers Chat Network Patreon, which is patreon.com/Barbers Chat Network. You can subscribe to that $5 79th and Highlands tier to check that out. But I will say this will be a Bears victory. I think the Bears will win. I think this will be a disgusting offensive game until proven otherwise. We don't know. David Montgomery did not practice again for the second time this week, but he is day-to-day. They're saying that it's a chance he could play. Good news for Bears fans. Velus Jones Jr. is on track to make his season debut. He hasn't played really outside of one game in the preseason at all. They need him back just off special teams alone. So, and it's a big week for Justin Fields. Let's just call it like it is. I love Justin. He put up one of the worst performances I've ever seen by a quarterback in a Bears uniform last week. Did not look good. So all the pressure's on him. He's got to go out there and step it up, man. So I think that'll be just enough because even though, this Giants defense is decent, their offensive line is god awful. I think there'll be some plays right there for the D line. Daniel Jones is fucking god awful. But I will say this: the Bears defense better tackle because the same Bears defense that tackled on Sunday Night Football 2 weeks ago against the Packers, Saquon Barkley is going to have a career fucking day. If you think Saquon forgot this is the team he tore his ACL against, you're crazy. So I do think it'll be a close game. It'll be a nasty game, but I think that the Bears make one or two more plays, and I think the running game, I think it'll be a lot of runs because this running defense of the Giants is fucking terrible. I think that'll be enough to take the Bears over the top. But tune into the preview pod and I'll give you my exact reasons and my actual score. Eagles Jags, we talked about this game multiple times today. Doug Peterson return. I think this will be a very competitive game. Would not be shocked if the Jaguars win, but they're at home. They're at the crib. They got the better quarterback right now. I'm going with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to go to 4-0 in their division. Jets Steelers, it's a nasty game, but this is the return of Zach Wilson. So finally, Jets fans get to see their young quarterback. Can he be the franchise quarterback in year 2? Just off that alone, it'll be something to watch for them. The Steelers, man, I keep telling you, Mr. Trubisky stinks. I know Mike Tomlin is saying all the right things because Tomlin is an amazing coach. Nobody knows Mitchell David Trubisky more than your boy. That motherfucker stinks. Still no TJ Watt. I think this game, it's going to be a close game, obviously. The Jets ain't running away with shit. But I'm going to pick the Jets. I think Zach Wilson them just will get it done this week. Bills Ravens. This is gonna be a good one. It's gonna be a good one, man. MVP candidates: Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Good game right here. The Ravens. This would be a massive win for them. If you're the Bills, you don't want to lose 2 in a row. You do not want to lose 2 in a row, and you sitting there 2-2, especially if the Dolphins win tonight. Now you 2 games behind early. You don't want that. So I think that this will be a high scoring game because the Bills secondary is hurt and the Ravens secondary just ain't that damn good. The defense in general is kind of shaky. So I do think the Bills will make just enough plays, but I think it's going to be a good one. But I'm going to go Bills over the Ravens. Chargers, Texans. I mean, I don't really know what to say about the Chargers right now. I really think the Chargers might be cursed. We all know about the rib injury with Justin Herbert. He practiced again, but ribs ain't something they heal over 2 weeks. Now you've got one of your wide receivers out. Joey Bosa just been put on IR. Things are just not good for the live-in neighbor of the Los Angeles Rams. They're going against the Texans. The Texans couldn't beat the Bears in one of the worst quarterback performances I've ever seen. So just off that, I think the Chargers will have just enough to win. But betting wise too, I would stay away from this in this game too. But I'm gonna take the Chargers. Cardinals, Panthers, another skip-worthy game. Panthers stink. Panthers will be drafting top 3. Still not big on the Cardinals. They didn't score a fucking point last week, but I think they'll have enough just because the Panthers just stink. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals in this one. Packers, Patriots at Lambeau Field. We all know that Mac Jones got injured last week. His ankle's not good. They've really been kind of, quiet on the timetable, but it did sound like from Bill Belichick yesterday that Mac Jones might be able to play this week. But whether it's Brian Hoyer or Mac Jones on an injured ankle, that's just not going to be enough to beat the Packers in Lambeau Field. So I'm going to go with the Packers with this, and the Packers will go 3-1 to start the season. Raiders, Broncos, like I just said, big game for both teams, especially the Raiders. The Raiders season is already on life support, but if they lose this one, it is over. It is over in Las Vegas, and you think about how the Sky gonna repeat next year. Not the Sky, but the Aces gonna repeat next year. I know Damian Pat gonna get on me for that slip up, but the Aces, how they're gonna repeat next year. So it's a big game, but I will take the Raiders. They're at home, and they're just too talented of a team to go 0-4. I mean, the Bears ain't even 0-4. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with the Raiders in this one. Sunday night football, there has been a lot of questions of where this game will be played because of the weather conditions and the hurricane out there. So I hope everybody in Florida stays safe. But the game will be played in Tampa Bay this week. Sunday night football, Chiefs Bucks. I think this will be an entertaining game. Really gonna see which offense can break out. Mike Evans will be back. We still don't know if Julio Jones will be back. Chris Godwin's still out. And I just feel like, the Chiefs offense looked bad the last 2 weeks. They're going to have a breakout game, and the Chiefs win this one. And then this week ends with Monday Night Football at Levi Stadium. Rams, Niners, good division showdown. Should be a good one. One thing about Jimmy G, let's God off in 1 week, stepping out of bounds, and he looks good the next week. It's really about what Jimmy Garoppolo you're going to get. What's his Niners offense going to look like? What's the running game going to look like? And this is the team that they've bodied bodied the Rams in regular season play over the last 5-6 years, and lost a very close NFC Championship game on the road. That if Jimmy Ward didn't drop that damn pick, they'd have been the ones hosting the Super Bowl. But this is gonna be a good game. I'm gonna go with the Rams. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one, man. So those are my week 4 picks. Week 4 picks, man. So now to go wrap this up, Goofy Mog of the week. My Goofy Mog of the week. Gonna give this to the media and the family of Roger Maris. Now, unless you've been living on the fucking rock, Aaron Judge tied Roger Maris home run record last night with 61 home runs. Congrats to Aaron Judge. Congrats to the Yankees, AL East champions. I don't think a lot of people picked them to finish them. I think a lot of people said the Rays. A lot of people was talking about the Blue Jays. But they were wrong. They're the AL East champions. They're going to be, they will be the number 2 seed in next week's playoffs. So they will get a first round bye, and they will have home field advantage, at least unless they play. They'll have home field advantage in every round unless they play in the Houston Astros. Great season for Aaron Judge. He has a great chance to be the first Triple Crown winner since Miguel Cabrera, and he's going to be extremely wealthy man at the end of this offseason because the Yankees was playing around with motherfuckers. But I'm getting sick and tired of this is the real home run record or this is the AL home run record. And it's actually kind of shameful that we're taking this spotlight off Aaron Judge. A great thing he's done to shame the greatest baseball player who ever lived, which is one Barry Lamar Bonds, when he has the real home run record. And even talking about the things that Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and all those players in the steroid era did. At the end of the day, and I understand steroids enhance and things of that nature. I understand that. But at the end of the day, you still got to hit the fucking ball. You can give me the same steroids that you gave Mark McGwire and fucking Sammy Sosa. I'm not finna hit that ball out of fucking Dodger Stadium. You still got to play the game. And it's disrespectful. And the one thing that shows just how terrible this sport is from how it's carried, because I love the game of baseball. I've watched the least baseball I've watched this season, mainly because my White Sox underachieved like a motherfucker and I just stopped caring. But the way they market the game is terrible. And you have these baseball purists, these old white people who tell me how the game used to be. And the reason why it's hypocritical, you're not letting these dudes get in the Hall of Fame, but you're not giving up the money that you made from the steroid era. That was the most popular era of MLB baseball. That you could argue that the MLB was even a little bit more popular than National Football League was at that time. The summer of '98, I'm a diehard White Sox fan, but I'll never forget the summer of '98, the battle between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa. And that's the reason that documentary pissed me off so much, because they act like Sammy didn't win MVP that year, and like the Cubs wasn't the only team to make the playoffs. I can't stand that fucking franchise, but that was an important time in baseball. Sammy Sosa is one of my favorite players of all time. And to have that, and then it's really just discrediting Barry Bonds. Even if you want to take out the steroids, this motherfucker was a 3-time MVP and an 8-time Gold Glover. Kiss my ass. Put him in the Hall of Fame. And all this stuff is disrespectful, not only to these players who played, it's disrespectful and hypocritical of the league. And it's also disrespectful to Aaron Judge to parade this shit. And Roger Maris Jr. got a lot of goddamn nerve talking about this is the real record. You wasn't up there saying that shit 24 years ago when you was up there kissing Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire ass at all them games. We still got them pictures. Like Cameron said, I got dirt on you, doggy. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. So everything involving that is just irritating. And it just really shows why people don't fuck with Major League Baseball like that, man. So I'm going to give my Goofy Mog of the week to Roger Maris Jr. and just MLB media, old school media in general. Y'all playing yourselves, man. So That's all I got for y'all today. Great episode. Thank you for each and every one of y'all tuning in every week. Of course, we'll be back next week. We'll be doing twice a week. We'll be back. We're going to be shooting on Monday and Thursdays. We're going to recap last week, preview the upcoming week, and we're going to get some MLB playoffs, MLB postseason. We'll be kicking off next Friday, man. I can't wait for that. MLB playoffs, to me, is the most exciting postseason out of any sports league. Just the intrigue, living and dying on every pitch. I'm gonna be watching it stress-free because my punk ass team decided to win only 70 games this year. And we will talk about it on a new episode of He Gone next week, so look out for that. So yeah, we got a lot to get into next week. Before we log off, I just want to give thoughts and prayers to my homie J.R. Bang and his family and everything they're going through. Please keep them in your prayers, man. Definitely for him and his family. We praying for you, man. And we'll holler at you next week. You know to follow me on Twitter at BarberChair Scott. Follow me on Instagram also, BarberChair Scott. Follow the H&B Media channel at HB Media TV on Twitter and HB Media on Instagram. Follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network. Man, we got 3 different tiers for y'all. We got the $5 Summer Sessions tier. If you just want to hear me, Flows, Damien, even though them 2 niggas ain't been on in a long time, Pav, J.R. Vang, and Merk talk about the weekly shit and culture and hip-hop. Listen to that. If you just want that, you got the $5 tier. If you just want to hear 70 Night the Holler shit, you got 70 Night the Holler tier. Well, if you're a smart person, and majority of almost all our patrons are smart, because the leading tiers are all access tier. If you want all of that shit, subscribe to our $10 tier, man. Barbers Chair, all access. We updated multiple times a week. We had the most subscriber growth in the month of September, so we appreciate each and every one of y'all. So subscribe to that. Visit the bcnet.com. Barbers Chair Network shop is coming very, very soon. Look out for that, y'all. We out.
Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna